Okay, here we have this Technics RSTR311. Okay, so the problem with this now is the stop switch does not function. So these soft touch switches in here are just a small little switch. It has 2 pins that goes through the board. Okay, so that basically just completes a circuit. Okay, all these other buttons are working just fine. Okay, so but the stop button is completely non-functional. So okay, down inside here you can see the board right in front of those heads. That's the board that the switch is connected to. Okay, so everything comes apart. Top has to come off. The front has to be removed. Both mechanisms have to be taken out. This display here, okay, will also have to be removed and set aside. So this entire unit is going to be gutted. Okay, so this is going to be a very long video. I don't even know if I'm going to be successful because I've never soldered a switch to a board before. So, but everything else is working great. Record, play, everything sounds great. Just the stop switch is broken. So, we're going to start taking this apart. Off comes the top. Okay. With the top off, you can see everything comes apart. We're going to unplug all these wires. Okay. Everything is clearly marked. Deck 1, deck 2. Okay. So, as far as putting it back together, it's pretty much a no-brainer. Okay. So, these wires right here, you just push down and pull, and it will release. Okay. Just like that. Okay. The power supply right here just unplugs. Okay. Then you got the motor right here, just unplugs. Okay. So now you got the heads, okay, over here. This will probably need a little screwdriver to pry it off. Okay, so I'll pause the video for that. Okay. So this wire here, you can just push down, pull up. And that will unplug. Okay. The motor will unplug just like that. Okay. So I'm going to pause the video while I unplug these heads. Okay. Okay. Now with everything unplugged, Okay, everything's been disconnected here. The heads, okay, power supply to the front, everything's disconnected. So we're gonna flip this up. We're gonna take these screws out, okay, and this whole front should come right off. Okay, so I'm going to pause the video while I remove these screws. Okay, with all those screws removed, this should just slide apart right here. Okay, I'm probably not going to be able to do it with one hand, so let's pause this video again. Okay, with these two pieces separated, we can now get this off of the bench, get it out of the way, and we can start dismantling everything. Okay, so we're going to pause this video again. Okay, it's good to lay down like a bath towel, something, so you don't damage the front of your deck. Okay, so the delivery man just showed up with my switches. Just regular tactile switches with 2 pins. Okay, so you get like 25 of them for about $2. Okay, so they only cost pennies. Okay. Okay, so these 2 knobs have to come off. Okay. Just set them aside. Okay. Okay. Everything comes out. Both mechanisms are going to come out. There's only 4 screws holding each mechanism in place. Okay, so you have the record deck and the play deck. Okay, very simple. So 4 screws, 1 in each corner. Then you have to open up the eject mechanism, and these decks will lift right out of here. Okay, so I know, it's super exciting watching somebody remove a screw. Normally, I just pause the video, but since I'm bored, okay, I guarantee you YouTube is going to give me a strike because a couple rooms away there's a little Bluetooth speaker playing. So, you know, kind of like dentist office rock, right? Just stuff playing in the background. It's like 30 feet away, but I'm sure YouTube will give me a strike for it. So, I don't have any idea what that even means, okay? because I don't monetize my channel, okay? I don't make no money off of this. I just do this because I'm bored, right? I shattered my spinal cord about a decade ago, which put an end to my career. I know you guys all want to hear about being a continental tractor trailer driver. I'm sure you've heard enough war stories about that. So, okay, now all 8 screws are out of that. Okay, so once you open an eject mechanism, once you press the eject button, the mechanism is going to come right out. Okay, so I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to pop these 2 mechanisms right out of here. Okay. Okay, with the 2 mechanisms set aside, okay, now we're getting down in there. This bracket right here has to come out, okay? So it's good if you take photos along the way, okay? Just in case, you know, you can't remember how you took stuff apart, okay? So this bracket has 4 screws in it. They all have to come out. These screws are basically the same screws that hold in the mechanism. Okay? But it's good to keep them separate anyway. Okay? I just hope the switches that I bought are the correct height. When you buy those tactile switches on the internet, okay, once you figure out whether it has 2 pins or 4 pins or whatever, if it's a surface mount, because there are a bunch of different kinds of tactile switches. So once you figure out how many pins it has and all that, okay, then you have to worry about how tall it is, okay? Okay. Okay. So this computer board right here has to come out because this bar goes underneath of this computer board. So it has 2 screws and then it has some plastic clips that hold it in. Now when I took this apart before, they had a little contact cement on them plastic switches. Okay. So you could see on that board underneath there, that contact cement. They just glob it on there. Okay. So. Okay. So, this board will have to come out, which means that's going to take 2 hands. So I'm going to have to pause the video, remove this, and then remove this metal plate. Okay. So this will lift out of here. And there's your display. So we just set that aside so it don't get damaged. This metal bar right here just lifts right out of here. Okay, now be careful, you don't want to turn this upside down or all this eject mechanism stuff will fall apart. Okay, so basically the doors won't stay closed because there's no mechanism inside for it to click to. So they're going to try to open up on you and lift up. Okay, so now this entire board will have to come out of here. Okay, because it's connected, it's all soldered together. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 screws holding this thing down. So all these screws have to come out. I gotta tell you, I'm so excited. I could take a shit. I'm just saying. This is what happens when you get retired, kids. You start taking shit apart. Start watching way too many videos on the internet on how to fuck with stuff. Okay? So, okay. Now this has these little metal clip or these little plastic clips in here holding it together. Okay? So this is going to take 2 hands to get this out of here. Okay? So, alright, pause the video. Okay, with all those little plastic pins released, she comes right out of there. Okay? So now we can take the front, because we're done with it for right now, and just set it aside. We can get it off the table. We can get all this stuff out of the way. Okay? So, here is the switch that is no good. Okay? It just doesn't even feel right when you press it compared to the other ones. The other ones have a nice click, and this one just has a real lame click. You can feel it moving, but it just doesn't have that little click. Okay, these are all clearly marked. Play. Okay. Rewind. Pause. Stop. Play. Okay. Record. So these are very clearly marked. Now what happened was some Loctite got down in here. There was a lot of work done on these mechanisms because the gear in here had to be changed. So this all had to come apart. Okay, so when the Loctite was reapplied to the heads, okay, so you can see that Loctite. And you can see the Loctite right here. So that's my guess, is Loctite got inside there. And then someone attempted to clean it, which was me. So I'm guessing all that chemicals, isopropyl alcohol, acetone, whatever, I guess it didn't agree with the switch. But whatever. Okay, so we got the little baggie of switches. So let's check them out. Okay, so I got my little bag of switches. Okay. Now remember, I don't know anything about any of this. Okay. I've only soldered 2 things in my life. Okay. So, okay. Now these switches, I turned one upside down, put it on the board to make sure that the switch is the same height. Okay? So that should work. Okay? One other thing I was looking for was anything that said positive or negative. Now I really couldn't find anything on here. Okay? Except for these 2 little silver dots. Okay? They're the only things on there that give it any kind of an orientation. Okay? Alright? So you can see those 2 little silver dots. Those same silver dots are on these switches. Okay? So I'm just going to install this one exactly the same way that they did. Okay? So that's great. The height is good. The height of the switch. Okay? Everything about it is an exact match. So now it's time to unsolder this switch from the board. So I'm going to have to get my soldering station over here because it has alligator clips and vices on it, and it can hold the board for me while I unsolder this switch. Okay? So I am going to end this video right here. This will be part 1. Okay? And I'm going to unsolder this switch and attempt to resolder a brand new switch in there. So, hopefully video 2 will be coming online soon. So this is the end of part 1. Hope you enjoyed this video. Time to get out the soldering gun.